screaming, crying. Most people, when they think of Africa, picture the same few places: Safari, pyramids, Cape Town, Victoria Falls. And somewhere beyond that short list, Ethiopia doesn't appear. That's not a coincidence. That's a blind spot. And today, we're going to fix it. Because Ethiopia is not just a country, it's a challenge. A living, breathing challenge to everything you assumed you knew about this continent and about the world. A country that was never colonized, the only one on the continent to defeat a European army on the battlefield and stay free. A civilization older than most of Europe's capitals. A landscape that stretches from one of the lowest points on Earth all the way to peaks above 4,500 meters within the same borders. And somewhere in between, more than 80 languages, 126 million people, and a history so ancient it doesn't just predate nations, it predates the concept of nations itself. By the time this journey is over, you won't just know more about Ethiopia, you will wonder how you never thought to look. Let's go. Before we move, a few things worth knowing. Ethiopia sits in the northeastern part of Africa in a region the world calls the Horn. It shares borders with Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Kenya, and Sudan. No coastline, no direct access to the sea, and yet for centuries it has sat at the crossroads of some of the most important trade routes on the continent. Landlocked but never isolated. Roughly 126 million people call it home as of 2025. That makes it the second most populous country in Africa. The capital is Addis Ababa. The name means new flower in Amharic, and at 2,355 meters above sea level, the air there is already thinner than anywhere most visitors have ever stood. You feel it the moment you step off the plane, a lightness, almost a hum that stays with you. The economy is agriculture-based, but, it's growing fast. Ethiopia is not a country that waits, it builds. Coffee alone accounts for nearly a third of the country's export earnings. And if you've ever held a warm cup of Ethiopian coffee, that deep, nutty, almost floral flavor that makes every other cup taste like an afterthought, you are already holding a piece of this country without even knowing it. The official language is Amharic, but that's just one of over 80 living languages spoken across the country. 80 languages, not dialects, languages. Each one carrying its own literature, its own songs, its own way of seeing the world. And then there is the calendar. Ethiopia uses its own. It runs roughly 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian calendar most of the world uses. Right now in the rest of the world it's 2025. In Ethiopia it's 2017. Time here doesn't just pass differently. It is counted differently, structured differently, experienced differently. They didn't fall behind the rest of the world. They simply never agreed that the rest of the world was right. Now let's move. Leave Addis Ababa and drive south. The city fades, the road narrows, the landscape opens up into something older, wider, quieter than anything you've seen. After roughly 10 hours or a short flight into the regional airport near Jinka, the air itself changes. It carries something different. Dust, wood smoke, the weight of centuries. The Omo Valley sits in southwestern Ethiopia along the banks of the Omo River. It stretches toward the Kenyan border, and inside this corridor of land, more than 200,000 people from over 20 distinct tribal communities have lived largely unchanged for hundreds of years. This is not a living museum. This is not a performance staged for cameras. These are real communities with real economies, real conflicts, and real customs that exist nowhere else on Earth. The most striking are the Mercy women. They wear circular clay lip plates inserted through the lower lip plates that can reach up to 15 centimeters in diameter. The larger the plate, the higher the social standing. Outsiders always ask the same question, "Doesn't that hurt?" The women of the Mercy ask a different one, "Doesn't it hurt to be invisible?" Stop there for a moment. Sit with that. Then there are the Hamer people and a ritual that will stay with you long after you leave. Among the Hamer, a boy cannot become a man through time alone. He has to earn it. The ritual is called the Ukuli Bula, the cattle jump. The young man must run across the backs of a row of castrated bulls back and forth without falling. The animals are slicked with dung, unpredictable, shifting under each step. One fall, the ceremony starts over. 2 falls in the same ceremony, he returns home without his passage. But before he runs, the women in his family do something that honestly demands even more. They line up before male relatives and demand to be whipped across the back, hard enough to leave scars. To outsiders, it looks brutal. But to the Hamer women, these scars are proof. Proof that they stood by their relative, that they bore the marks of their loyalty publicly and permanently for the rest of their lives. A scar is not a wound to be hidden. It's a story to be told. Tell me, what would you do to prove loyalty to someone you love? Leave your answer in the comments. Walk through the Omo Valley and you feel it everywhere. This ancient, unbroken contract between people and place. Guides here know these communities by name, by family, by history. They walk beside you, not ahead, not performing, just present. There is a warmth in the Omo Valley that no guidebook fully captures. A sense that you are genuinely welcomed, not merely tolerated. The Omo Valley is facing real pressure. Hydroelectric dams upstream have disrupted the annual flood cycle these communities depend on for farming. Land conflicts have grown, and tourism, while bringing income, is reshaping traditions in ways that, honestly, cannot always be reversed. The version you can see today, raw, living, unfiltered, will not exist in this form forever. It is a fact worth sitting with. One thing before you visit, photography here is not free. Many communities charge a small fee per photo, not as exploitation, but as a negotiated boundary. Your camera, enters their world. Paying for that access is not a transaction. It is an acknowledgement. The Mercy, the Hamer, the Karo, they are not background scenery, they are hosts. And in Ethiopia, you always respect your hosts. If the Omo Valley shows you the body of Ethiopia, this next place shows you its soul. Leave the south. Travel north into the Tigray region, into the Geralta Mountains, and then, just look up. Somewhere above you, carved into a sheer sandstone cliff face, at more than 2,580 meters above sea level, is a church. Not a chapel, not a shrine, but a full church with frescoes, altars, hand-painted ceilings, and priests who conduct services inside it. It's only accessible by climbing a near-vertical rock face with no railing, no safety rope, and a sheer drop of over 200 meters beneath your feet. Its name is Abuna Yamata Gu. It was built in the 5th century AD. To reach it, you park your vehicle and walk uphill for about 45 minutes. The path climbs steadily through dry scrubland, the rock warming under the midday sun. Then the trail ends and the cliff face begins. You press your back against the stone, You edge sideways across a ledge barely wide enough for both feet. You look straight ahead, not down, and you move. At one point, the ledge disappears entirely. There are only handholds cut into the rock. You grip them with your fingers, find footholds with your feet, and pull yourself upward. Local priests do this barefoot every week. They've been doing it for over 1,500 years. Once inside, the ceiling curves overhead. The air is cool and absolutely still. It smells of old incense and ancient stone, and covering every surface, walls, ceiling, archways, are paintings, saints, angels, biblical scenes, some more than 1,000 years old. The pigment is still vivid, blue and red and gold, sealed by altitude and darkness, protected by the very thing that makes this church so hard to reach. Historians believe it survived intact for one reason: its location. No army was ever willing to climb up to destroy it. The difficulty was the protection. Stand inside that space after what it took to reach it, and something changes in you. Whether you are religious or not, you feel it. Maybe it's awe. Maybe it's the specific silence that only exists at altitude. Maybe it's the understanding that someone built this by hand out of raw faith in a place where one wrong step meant death. There are approximately 120 rock-hewn churches across the Tigray region. Abuna Yamadagu is considered the most extraordinary. Most people who make it here say the same thing afterward. The climb was the point. That the difficulty was inseparable from the experience. That you can't arrive here casually. And that is exactly why arriving here means something. From the sacred cliffs of Tigray, the journey moves west into a different kind of impossible. The Simien Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are, well, one of the most dramatic highland landscapes on the planet, and one of the most unexpectedly moving places you will ever stand in your life. The range was formed by volcanic eruptions 40 million years ago. Over time, erosion carved its extraordinary terrain into deep gorges, vertical escarpments, flat plateaus, and jagged peaks that seem to catch the clouds like fingers reaching upward. The highest point, Ras Dashen, rises to 4,550 meters, the fourth highest peak in Africa. At that altitude, the light behaves differently. Colors are sharper, shadows harder, and at dawn, when the mist fills the valleys below you, and the peaks catch the first orange of sunrise, the scene looks less like reality and more like something painted by someone who had never seen the ordinary world. You are standing above the clouds, literally. You look down and see white. But the Simien Mountains are not only a view, they are alive in a way that surprises everyone who comes. This is the home of the gelada, a primate found nowhere else on Earth. It looks like a baboon at first glance. Then you notice the hourglass-shaped patch of bare red skin on its chest, which flushes and changes color with its emotional state. Males carry these flowing golden capes of fur across their shoulders. They are extraordinary animals, and they have absolutely no fear of you. Walk through a gelada herd and they, well, ignore you. They'll sit just 2 feet away, pulling grass methodically with their fingers, glancing up with something between mild curiosity and complete indifference. They live in groups that can exceed 800 individuals, the largest social groups of any non-human primate on Earth. The sound of 200 geladas vocalizing at once, a complex rhythmic murmur that sounds almost like human conversation, is unlike anything you will hear anywhere else on Earth. Also in the Simien, the Ethiopian wolf, one of the rarest canids in the world. Fewer than 500 individuals remain. Slim-bodied, rust-red, they move through the high moorland like foxes from another dimension. To see one is to feel genuinely lucky. Trekking in the Simien typically takes 3 to 7 days. The trails pass through highland villages, open meadows thick with wildflowers, and cliff edges where you stand 1,500 meters above the valley floor, with nothing between you and the bottom but altitude. Go slowly. The elevation demands it. But that slowness is the gift. When your body can only move at a certain pace, you stop rushing past what's around you. You actually see it.